Hello, friends.
Wow.
Hi, how are you?
Jeez.
Sorry, we had to set up a few things. So I apologize for being a little late. However, we hope to have a lot of fun tonight, like we always do. I had to make Ling sit down. She's over in the corner there. And hello, everyone. I hope you had a great day. Today is episode 27 of Ask the Unicorn, and today's date, Kazi, is
April the 2nd, 2014. And just a quick note, this Sunday he will be doing a workshop at the Mind Body Spirit Festival in Saco at the Ramada Inn. And it is an hour-and-a-half long workshop on psychic self-defense and psychic development. If you're interested, it is a $20 admission fee.
So be there.
Or don't. I could say be squared, but that's so lame.
So check this out. You like the lava lamp? Look at that.
Yeah.
Is that awesome or what? And how do you like our brand new set?
Complete with jazz hands.
Yes, the lava lamp is awesome. Anyway, I would like to start the night off with changes that people are going through. Listen, we go through changes, and some of them are pleasing and some of them are not, but you always have to kind of keep yourself positive to a degree. You know, do the best that you possibly can to stay positive. I know the winter's been very, very long. Has anyone noticed something about this particular winter, though? This particular winter has not only been cold, but it's been kind of dirty. I mean, if you look out there, the snow always, you know, they shovel the snow and make giant mountains with it, but usually it goes away and it's not quite as dirty as it's been. You know, the weather's been great for the past couple of days, but it's, you know, the snow piles have left behind just mountains of dirt. You know, and you go down the street, you drive down the street, and all you see is dirty snow. Hopefully it'll all melt and clean itself up. It usually does. But this year has been a lot dirtier than the last few years of winter. I don't know if anybody else has noticed that. But I think also one of the reasons that it's been like that is because there's a lot of earth changes. In other words, we talked about magic returning to the earth, or the substance that causes magic. Put it this way, it's a substance that is both tangible and intangible simultaneously. And no, I'm not going to talk about dark matter. What I'm actually going to
Sorry, like what? You want to talk about what?
Dark matter. You know, I want to talk about intangible energy, which is intangible in this particular third dimension, which is all pervasive. We talked about that before. But when you get intangible intangible energy, and then you mix it with tangible energy, this wonderful change happens. It's a hybrid of energy, which causes a unique form, which causes a massive manifestation. In other words, you know how since we're all children, we get told, be careful what you wish for? Well, the time that is coming is actually going to be exactly that. Be careful what you wish for. Okay? Because not only be careful what you wish for, but be careful what it is that you allow your thoughts to focus on and concentrate on. See, a lot of people have an illusion about what we like to call the law of attraction. I'm sorry to have to use that particular term because it has been thrown around way, way, way too much. But actually, it would be better to look at it this way. What it is that you need or want in your life, you will attract eventually, or at least attract the opportunity for you to have that particular thing or to manifest that particular thing. But with the energy that is coming, you'll have more of a possibility, or the odds will change. Okay? What that basically means is that we humans, we have kind of a up and a low, up and down when it comes to concentration and focus. And when it comes to actually not only believing in ourselves, but having enough confidence in ourselves to make something actually happen. Sometimes we do it really, really, really good, and sometimes we just suck at it. Well, the energy that is coming will actually magnify both of them. So what it is that you're asking for, you will attract that. But you have to do certain things in order to attract that. Okay? For instance, if you're going to set your sights on being a lava lump,
Lava lump?
lava lamp maker. You're going to set your sights on being a creator of lava lamps. They all say it that way. What happens is you kind of have to see it in your mind and see yourself actually doing it to attract that particular possibility. Remember, the possibility exists. The impossible happens every single day. It's some things that are improbable, which takes a little longer. But in this particular case, becoming a creator of lava lamps is very, very possible. Sorry. So if you set your sights on that, and you can actually see it and understand that it's something that you are capable of doing, and you're willing to protect that particular vision from yourself and other people, you will attract that to you. Not only will you attract the possibility or the opportunity, you will also attract the supply. You'll also attract the demand. You'll also attract the reason for doing it. This is really important, and the wherewithal to do it. Let's say that you need a certain amount of training in order to make lava lamps. But you're one of these free spirit people, and we should all be free spirits, but one of these people that just say, well, I can just do it out of the creativity of my own mind. You're absolutely correct. But the law of attraction contains within it every single thing that has the ability to make you become what it is that you've asked for. So if the opportunity to go to school to become a lava lamp maker or creator of lava lamps comes, you have to accept it. You have to take it. Why? Because you asked for it. And you're talking about the law of attraction. Well, the law of attraction just created an opportunity for you to learn how to make lava lamps. That means that you are obliged to take that opportunity. I don't care what you think. Okay? You just have to take that opportunity. It doesn't matter whether or not you succeed at the schooling for it or fail at it. It matters that you listened or you took the opportunity that the universe provided for you, which means that they can now invest in you so that you get another opportunity to further yourself along that particular line. Now, for those of you that take me quite literal, no. You do not have to become a lava lamp maker or creator in order for you to understand the law of attraction. Oh, you merely have to take the opportunities that are there for you when it is created. Okay, you want to be a singer. Now, are you going to go to Phil's School of Singing? If that's the opportunity that is created for you, knowing damn well that Phil cannot sing? No, that is not the law of attraction. You will find a way to learn how to sing. Okay? You will find an opportunity. But the opportunity will always come from someone who actually can sing. Okay? So you'll find someone who has the ability to sing. Not someone who graduated from the School of Harvard for music. Is there a School of Harvard? Is there a Harvard School for music?
No, it's
whatever. Wherever you go, okay? It doesn't really matter, okay? What matters is a person can have a credential to sing yet not be able to carry a tune in a bucket sideways. A person can have the wherewithal to sing and understand the dynamics of singing and be perfectly capable of teaching you. That is when the law of attraction is actually there and will provide you with the opportunity to learn from this particular person, or at least be able to glean something by being in their presence. Do you understand? You must know the ins and outs. There are rules. For instance, you've asked for prosperity, and you did your whole prosperity spell. You've done all the things that should bring you prosperity, and you go outside and you find a nickel. And because it's a nickel, you want to turn it down. Well, guess what you just did? You turned down the entire law of attraction and the whole theory of the law of attraction and the mechanic of the law of attraction. If I were you, I would look at that nickel and figure a way, say, okay, I get it. It's not the loads of money that I was counting on that would be called prosperity, but you have to have the thought that perhaps this is just a test. Perhaps this is how it begins. Begins. Okay. Perhaps this is an opportunity for you to understand the trickle of prosperity that has to be appreciated in order for you to get the waterfall. So you've got to understand there are particulars in the law of attraction. Your thinking about something is not enough. Even in religious practices, they like to quote something, and I think it's really funny that they quote it all the time. Say, faith without works is dead. Okay? That's not correct. Faith without works is freaking lazy. That's what that is. And 9 times out of 10, you really can't expect something to happen unless you do something to help it happen. Which brings another thing that people like to throw around. God helps those that help themselves. Well, this is very, very true. It is very, very true. But God just helps a person. Okay, that's the bottom line. God just helps a person. That's the bottom line. You kind of have to look at things this way. If I'm going to understand the law of attraction, I have to understand this. In order for me to attract something, it has to be within my realm and my ability, not only in my ability, but my very makeup in order for me to attract it. Listen, only life can support life. This is the truth. We like to say this, like attracts like. This is also the truth. Well, somebody decided to make up a funny little saying because it was really cool to do so because they were a rebel. Opposites attract. Usually they don't. They just find a way to get in each other's way. That's usually what happens. Like does attract like. So in order for you to attract something, doesn't have to be within you in order for you to attract it. So if it doesn't exist in you, then you need to find a way to exist. This goes for all of you that I was talking to about soulmates a few weeks ago. You all want your dream person, yet 90% of you out there are not willing to be the dream. Okay? If you want your dream to happen, then you have to be that dream. If you want answers, then you have to be pursuing those answers, which basically means that the answer is within you. You may not be able to formulate it or even see it without the help of your fellow persons. Okay? You have to understand something. Everything that you desire is within you. Otherwise, you would not desire it. And there's the very makeup and basis of what we call the law of attraction. So if you concentrate on that, of course it's going to be attracted to you. The other side of that is, if you concentrate on the negative things that are within your realm of thinking, you cause those possibilities to happen. So it's probably best for you not to concentrate on those things that are negative. That doesn't mean that negativity doesn't exist. So don't go put on your rose-colored glasses and go around and tell people that Z said if I don't think about things that are ugly, they won't exist, because that's a lie. They do exist. You just don't have to invest in them. Okay? And if they do happen to you, seek a solution. Seek a way through it. Don't just sit there and complain. Find a way through it. There are tons of people out there that talk about struggling every single day, yet do absolutely nothing to abate that struggle. There are millions of people that sit up and talk about crime, yet when crime is happening, they sit by and do absolutely nothing. If you want crime to go away, then do something to make it go away. If you want beauty to be a part of your life, then be beautiful. Find a way to be beautiful. This is how it goes. Now, how did I wind up ranting? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to rant, but it just kind of comes out of me. This is the way that it is. For instance, I wanted to be able to help people on a very wide level. Yes, I teach, and I put myself in that position to do. I put myself there in order for me to use my gifts. I wanted to be able to use my gifts in the service of humanity and in the service of the universe. In order for me to do that, I had to put myself right in the middle of the battle. And I chose to do that, and I'm perfectly fulfilled doing that. I have great times, I have bad times. Sometimes I hold on to my business by the skin of my teeth. Other times I have some good times. But you know something? It's what I asked for, and it was within me to do what I do. So I continue doing it. Yeah, I've had some hard travels, but I don't sit around and complain about them. If I need to vent something, I vent and I move on. This is what we all should do. And if we can, help each other out. Help each other through. That way you're attracting to you what it is that you've asked for. And someone can be there to support you when you kind of lose your will to do it. And help you restore your will. And help you restore your confidence in yourself. So, I've given you all kind of a crash course on the law of attraction. It didn't start off that way. But I hope you've learned from that. Okay, now, there are a lot of questions that people have to ask, and I should get to those right now. Because I can talk about this all night. All right, so what do we have?
You ready?
Yeah, I am ready.
All right. This is from Tony, and he says, I saw that you posted on an article about a police officer whose last act minutes before being killed on duty was buying food for a young child that he didn't know. You said the spiritual connotation of this is giant. Can you expand upon what you meant by that?
Well, I think that particular officer did something very, very wonderful. And I know that officers do things like that all the time. Yet in this particular case, this is what I read from that situation. I read that that little boy was in danger. And that officer actually took. And it's really tragic. And, I'm sorry, but I can only tell you what it is that I saw. That officer saved that little boy's life. That little boy might have been the victim. And that particular officer would have felt horrible. So wherever that officer is, I hope he's getting some magnificent rewards for sacrificing his life, because that's exactly what took place. Now, a lot of you may not understand that. But he asked this little boy, the boy asked him just for a dime so that he could pay for cookies, because he was hungry. So the officer said, I'll buy them for you. And he did. And he asked him, so what do you want to be when you grow up? He said, I want to be in the NBA. He said, that's a lot of hard work. And the little boy, which is kind of cool, the little boy told him, thank you. And right after that, the officer was killed. So the implications there, if you look at what actually took place, if you can actually see the wheels, the way that they turn, it was almost like an agreement between that officer and that child. And that child, on some level, knew that, and so did the officer. So the officer, if you look at it another way, maybe the officer and the boy was having a totally different conversation in some other dimension. You do realize that this life is going to be a hard time. It's going to be a lot of hard work. But I'll help you out. And the child said, thank you. But there was a whole conversation that took place besides that none of us saw. I, for one, think it was a very beautiful moment. And I'd like to say to the police department that the officer worked for and the officer and his family, thank you. And I hope that you all do the same thing. That's very, very rare. And you just don't know how rare it is. But it was very beautiful and very valid. That's what I meant by that. The spiritual connotation of that is giant. It was huge. That heralds something. That is one of those things that proves to the rest of the solar system and galaxy that this earth and the people that live in this earth are worth saving. We are worth something. Acts like that change history. They change destiny. They change the very fabric of the universe. They cause those things that may have been on a destructive path to just all of a sudden be abated and change the very direction to cause creation to happen. And what that does is that one act balances out many. So, that officer's sacrifice was huge. Huge! And I really don't care what people think about the police force. There's some good policemen out there, and there's some bad policemen out there. Yet, if the police force were not here, that particular moment could not have happened. And if you got half of a brain, hopefully you see it that way. Not all of us like the police. Not all of us appreciate their job, and there are a lot of policemen that don't appreciate their job either. However, for that particular moment, good job, guys. All right, so hope that helps you out. What else have you got?
Well, this next question is from Donna, and she asks, do you feel as though spirits have feelings? For example, do you think they miss their families and wonder where they are? Thanks.
Well, I don't think that they actually wonder where they are, because most times they can find them. And yes, I know that they have feelings, yet feelings and emotions are two different things. If you're asking if they have an emotional attachment, maybe for a moment. And I'm quite sure that they miss their families for a moment. But then some of them choose to hang around for a bit until they and their families can get through it. This is the way that it is. I don't feel that they have feelings. I know that they have feelings. And if you've ever had a conversation with one of them, they're more than happy to let you know how they feel. So yeah, hope that helps you out. Oh, by the way, listen, if you decide that you're going to talk to someone who is in your family, don't wait around for them to appease your emotions. Better that you talk to them, not at them, or wait for them to talk at you. If you have something to say, say it. If they're there, they can hear you. They didn't become deaf. They can hear you. And it's you that may or may not have the ability to hear them. But where they are right now, all thoughts are apparent. They're all available. There is no separation from thoughts from each other. They can hear every thought. It's us that usually come up inadequate. So rather than talking at them and wondering what shape they are in all the time, my role model always said this: give your energy to the living. Think about what you're going through. And if there's something that you were going through that you know that that particular person would not appreciate, providing that they were a great person when they were here and they understood all that thing, that whole dynamic, then change. If you want to be able to communicate with them and you want to be able to understand them, then fix yourself here in the physical. Address yourself here in the physical. Address life the way that life presents itself to you. And then, maybe, just maybe, you'll be able to hear them and know how they feel. But here's a clue. If you want to know how they feel now that they're dead, think about how they felt when they were living. Think about how they felt when they were at their best. And you'll be helping them. Okay, that helps you. Next.
Donna says...
Hello, Donna.
She says, great answer, but what about the ones that are stuck here, ghosts?
You mean the spirits that are stuck here? You have to find the reason that they are stuck. And once you know the reason that they are stuck, then you can help them out. If you have that type of awareness. If you don't have that type of an awareness, but you know something or you feel something, then find someone who is able to deal with that. Find someone who is better able to understand them. The ones that are left behind, many times they're a little confused. Some of them, as you've heard from time to time, really don't know that they have lost their body. Then they find out, and they can be a bit shocking. A bit, sorry. It can be a lot shocking. Of course they have feelings. As I said, they may have a little bit of an emotional content. But if you can help them, and you have the awareness to help them, then help them. They have feelings. They only lost their body, not their senses. They didn't lose their minds. They're still people. They're just people in a different plane. Ghosts are nothing that you can interact with. They're merely an energy signature that's been left behind. Hence the term ghost. Shell. It will dissipate eventually, depending on how many people actually feel it or don't feel it. Hope that helps you. What do you got next?
I was going to ask a question about...
You're whispering.
I was going to ask a question about how is it possible for spirits to age? Like you mentioned Sherry got a little older.
Sherry only does that for our sake, or for my sake, rather. I don't know why, because she could stay a little girl as long as she wants to. She knows that. Or she may be getting ready to incarnate. Sometimes they do it because they feel like doing it. Remember, where they are, there's no time or space, so chronology has no real bearing on anything. I don't know, maybe she likes you and wants to be more like you. Or maybe she, wants to be a little older. Maybe she's found a friend, or maybe she just wants to do it.
Okay. I suppose, why not? I mean...
Yeah, why not?
Why not?
He's like, why
not?
do you age?
Why not? Why do you put on clothes?
saying,
why do you change your outfits?
It's like saying, well, why do we age? I don't know. Because, I think that some people bring on age, actually, because there are a lot of people that just don't want to live a long time. Me, I would love to live for like 1,000 years or a few thousand years in one incarnation. Imagine what I could learn in that time. I could learn to fly just with a thought, and then I would truly be an X-Men.
Oh my.
Well, it's just plain and simple.
Okay.
She does that because she wants to. She stayed a little girl forever.
It's rare when people...
It's not rare.
To hear somebody mention that a spirit got older. Like, people think spirits don't age.
Well, they don't. But they can still grow on a course. They can change.
Makes sense.
I mean, remember, linear time is something that we come up with. That's
exactly.
our concept. Which brings me to another point. Why do we have daylight savings time? What am I saving it for? I don't get it. It makes no sense to me.
I don't know.
Daylight savings time? Do I get a check in the mail that says that I have this much daylight in my savings account?
Can we cash it in the winter?
Probably not, but yeah, because I definitely would. It doesn't make any sense. Daylight savings time. Who came up with that concept? And the person that did, why did everybody else listen to them? It doesn't make any sense.
I don't know. And how come in Hawaii we don't have to change that? We don't have to do the daylight savings time. Nobody noticed.
Because it's Hawaii.
Nobody noticed.
It is Hawaii. Okay? Who cares about daylight savings time when you're in Hawaii? Who cares? I don't care about it here either. It's just, It makes no sense. I gotta get up an hour earlier, and then I gotta get up an hour. It doesn't make any sense. Anyway.
That's another rant.
Yeah, I'm not going there.
Alright, this next question is from Marie. She says, during a thunderstorm, I was hearing a squirrel on the roof or anything like that. I felt something like a tingling running through my scalp. I hope you know what I mean. What is that?
Negative ions. Electricity does have an effect on one's skin. It's during a lightning storm, right? That means that there are electrical impulses that are running all throughout. It usually makes the person feel very, very tingly and alive, Also can cause you to have instances of hyperactivity, depending upon your level of grounding. So you got very, very sensitive with what happened. You experienced hypersensitivity, and that's what actually did happen. The electricity powers us all. It's one of those elements that oftentimes gets forgotten when someone asks, well, what are the elements? And you hear someone with a bunch of bangles and crystals hanging all over them and waving their hands about in the air, saying things like, well, they're earth, fire, air, water, and akasha. Or,
And what?
Or spirit. Mufasa. Or love. Or Mufasa, whatever. Listen, all of you people out there that have listened and read all of these funny books by people that said what the fifth element is
Mila
listen to me. Mila Jovovich didn't have anything to do with it.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I couldn't help myself.
No. Okay. It's not akasha. It's not spirit. It's really simple. Now, if you were talking about the periodic table of elements, that would be something different because there's like 100 of those. But anyway, we're talking about the fifth element that we all like to talk about. I'm making this really clear for you. Okay? What we're basically talking about in our particular understanding, in this particular realm, would be earth, water, air, fire, and guess what? Electricity. Is that simple? Or what we call electricity, which would also be referred to as lightning, if you will. But it's all the same thing. It's really simple. Listen, love is not an element. Love is a concept. That is exactly what love is. Okay? Well, our understanding of love, put it that way. Otherwise, it would be a principle. Spirit is also a principle. It is not, I repeat, not an element. Akasha is a place that holds the Akashic records. Okay, well, it's actually okay. Let me tell you guys this. Okay, I am actually someone who gets to see the Akashic records, or what we call the Akashic records. The place is not called Akasha, but to our understanding and what people have understood, it can be called that. It's still a place. I'm sorry. Anne Rice was wrong. Or whoever said it. They're wrong. Okay? Understand that. Now, beyond that fifth element, there are a lot. A whole lot. Okay? Understand that we need to go beyond the fifth element. It's kind of like we need to go beyond the basic 7 energy centers that are within the body. And I know people talk about, well, it's the 8th center that is a part of your higher self. Listen, you have thousands of chakras within your body. These are, I call them batteries or circuits. You have thousands. Okay? Your hands, your feet, fingers, so forth, so forth, so forth. However, there are 7 major energy centers. And then beyond that, there may be other energy centers. But if you don't understand the basic 7, why even think about those others? It doesn't make any sense. Okay? Start with the first 7, and then we'll move on to the next 7, and then we'll move on to the third 7. Do you notice something that when it comes to the spiritual dimension of things, or it comes to the actual spiritual dimensional things, that is very, very similar to the physical dimension. When we are born, we have 7 years to develop our physical body fully, and then 7 years to develop our personality, and then 7 years to actually develop who we are. That's 21 years. Isn't that interesting how that works? 7, 7, and 7. It just works that way. By that time, we're supposed to be fully integrated into who it is that we are and have decided what it is that we need to do, or what we call our basic mission, which could be very different from the mission that the universe has for us to do. But that is a whole nother study. So you have to understand 3 stages. Remember, 3rd planet from the sun. Everything that we do is going to be in 3s. There are 3 stages, okay? There is that 1st, 2nd, and 3rd segments of life. And even when you're being developed as a fetus, there are 1st, 2nd, and 3rd trimester. It's just the way that it is. And you have to understand that everything that you'll do, there's that young age, there's that middle age, and then there's that later age, or golden age, okay? And it's just the way that it is. So understand something. You have to learn how to do things and think of things from the ground up. Even if you're a telepath like myself, you still have to go from the ground up. You don't get a go to heaven pass just because you're born telepathic. And actually, you kind of have to be twice as good as other people. because you're constantly seeing things in several different dimensions and have to be able to differentiate what it is that you're seeing and make sense of it. So understand something. The spiritual dimension is over everything. It supersedes every single thing and pervades every single thing. Even these realms that are physical, they are the astral realm, the etheric realm, the spirit realm, and the soul realm. Guess what? The spiritual transcends every single one of them. It just does. It's awesome the way that happens. But you have to be willing to get the real thoughts. You have to be willing to set about what it is that you really want to do. You have to be able to. And even when it comes to understanding spirits and the nature of spirits, or what we call spirits, and I'm sorry they have to use these particular terms because our language is really inadequate. But it's just the way that it is. So I'm going to do that for lack of a better terms. These beings, how about that? When you're understanding these transdimensional beings and these multidimensional beings that have left this particular dimension, you operate with them the same way as you do here. You don't learn a new language just to be able to speak to them. You speak to them the way that you have always spoken. And that's the way that you're going to always speak. Listen, you have 5 different types of minds. And these 5 different types of minds are what enable us to be able to hear things from the spiritual dimension and translate the energy through these minds so that we understand them on a physical level. For those of you that have not, read my book, which is called The Way of the Unicorn, I'll do a quick synopsis of the minds. There's the physical mind, which is actually the brain. Okay? Remember, you have a physical body. There has to be a physical mind that runs that. Okay? It's not your nebulous mental state. It's your actual brain that runs this physical body. Then there's the subconscious, which science really doesn't understand. They kind of think that they do, and maybe to a degree they can do a few things, but they really don't understand. What that does is that is the actual one that says, oh, this is called a speaker. That's called a lava lamp. And so forth and so forth. It's kind of your perceptive mind, or how you reason things. The subconscious is the most interesting one. Why? Because the subconscious is actually what allows you to translate things from an energetic form into an understandable form. In other words, everything that you are has to go through the subconscious mind in order for you to even deal with it. Okay? It is a giant transformer. It transforms all of this energy so that you're able to digest it and assimilate it into your body. Otherwise, you'd explode. No transformer, you'd explode. That's just the way that it is. Now, there's the sub-supra, okay, which is the next one up. This is the one that enables a mother to pick a bus off of her child if she sees it. And you just display this superhuman strength, all of a sudden. It doesn't last, but it's there. Okay? That's exactly what that is. That's sub-supra. That's that eureka moment. That's when you get this revelation and this vision, and you say, why did I see that? Well, because your sub-supra mind activated for that amount of time. Okay? There's the super consciousness, which will be that all the time. And there are those of us that have moments of super consciousness and it goes back down. Can't stay in it all the time because we have physical bodies. However, those that have left this physical body have more of an opportunity to operate in that super consciousness. This is why they can see everything, sense everything, feel everything, know everything. Then when we get integrated back into a physical body, it's almost like instant, what's that thing? Amnesia.
What's that thing?
What's that thing? Okay,
Yeah.
instant amnesia. And then we have to remember things on a cellular level. You go through cellular remembrance. This is why you don't usually remember things until you get to a certain point. Those of us that do remember things when we were infants, we have that added benefit, and that's great. It doesn't mean that you get everything right. It merely means that you have it. You still have to go through cellular remembrance in order for you to understand the way the mechanisms of the universe, or even to understand the mechanism of yourself. So you have these 5 minds, and they are what enable you to digest, assimilate, and become what it is that you are going to become. So no matter what you do, no matter who wrote a book, no matter who told you or gave you a seminar, the law of attraction is always in effect with you. Why? Because you're constantly attracting yourself to yourself.
Oh, dude, then we're gonna go into like doppelgangers and
Oh, that's another.
dimensional.
Yeah, I'm not going into that now.
Okay.
Okay, this is just the way that it is. Okay, this is how it is. The person that writes a book on it gets some understanding and really wants to share it. But the one thing that they don't tell you is that you already operate in the law of attraction. You merely have to accept the fact that you do. It's actually quite simple. You know, it's really, really simple. It's so simple you miss it. Sorry, I got overexcited. That's the mad scientist in me that's going, you got to understand this. Okay. All right. So I'm going to calm down now. And then we're going to go to another question.
Wow. Ready?
I am indeed.
Daisy would like to, or let's see, let's put it this way. Daisy asks if you can discuss mana and the importance of it and which foods you can find it in.
All foods. You can find mana anywhere. You just have to look for it. It's easiest to find in fruits and vegetables and nuts and things of that nature. You can find mana in, and actually it's pretty easy to find it in meat as well. However, there are a lot of people that do not eat meat, and that's fine. That's great. Mana is the power that is behind power. Okay, it is the power that runs every single thing. You can do nothing without mana. Okay, there's mana that is going in you, and some people call it something else. They'll call it prana. Okay, it is the energy that is behind the energy that keeps us alive. If you're looking for mana in food, understand this: the fresher the food is, the more mana it has. If you're, you can look at fruit trees and you can see where the mana is, and you can see it by. You ever gone to pick apples, and you kind of thought maybe you were seeing another color with the apples? Well, yeah, you were. That's called the mana. See, a lot of times you will see things, and then question yourself, but you're actually seeing. This is the way that it is. Mana comes out in apples very, very blue. Kind of even though they're red, it will still come off as blue. It's just quite interesting. Same in plums, too. It comes off as a very wonderful blue color, kind of a dark blue, almost indigo. And you may just catch the faint part of it. However, if you catch something that's in fruit that looks brown, no, bad mana. Just like there's positive, there's also negative, and it can drain your energy. It can cause you the exact opposite effect of nourishing you. People should always check their mana. If you have any questions about the food that you're eating and you think that the energy in the food is no good, then you should not eat it under any circumstances, nor should you make anyone else eat it. Okay, and that goes for a lot of parents that want kids to eat their Brussels sprouts. I happen to like Brussels sprouts. I think Brussels sprouts are great, but if they don't have good mana in them, I'm not going to do it. Mana is spirit. It is the very spirit of the earth. It is the very power of the earth that is offered to us constantly. All you have to do is find it. Right? That's all you really have to do is find it. Okay? And you can find it. Farmers are very familiar with mana and the process of mana. If you find a good farmer, you'll find someone who understands mana. You don't have to go to a foreign land to understand mana. It's always right here. Trees have lots of mana. When a tree doesn't have mana, it should be cut down so that it can make way for a tree that does have mana. Or maybe even regenerate itself so that it can be mana filled again from the beginning. We all have mana. It's power. It's spirit. It is energy. It is the energy that causes you to be able to see. It is the energy that causes you to be able to hear, be able to feel, be able to know, be able to do anything. This earth is alive and full of mana, fortunately. We keep trying to find ways to deplete it, like a bunch of parasites, but hopefully we get smarter and stop doing that. Mana. Fruits, vegetables, nuts, meat, fish, all that good stuff. However, for those of you that do not eat meat, and those of you that are learning not to eat meat, because there are a lot of people that are learning not to eat meat. There's mana in the food that you eat. Just understand that, and then appreciate your food. Native cultures have always known this. Indigenous cultures have always known this. You know, this is not new thought at all. Look for food that has the mana. You'll be able to see it. You'll feel it. When you pick up a melon, and I've seen people do this, you know, and I get to look at the energy of the melon and tell whether or not there's mana in it. But I've seen them pick up melon and hold it and just kind of tap it to see what the sound is. Well, that's them searching for mana as well. Or you can feel it in the weight, whether the fruit is real or it's fake. You can feel it. There's a lot of produced vegetables out there, or forced grown vegetables out there. There's, you know, companies that have decided that, oh, we're going to make chemically designed corn and make everybody sick. Okay? And do what they want to do with it. You can tell the difference between real corn and fake corn. You can. And if you can't, your belly will tell you. You know, so think about eating food for the mana. You'll be a lot healthier. Not just because we're gluttons, or not just because, you know, your taste buds are dead. So you have to like hyper salt and pepper everything. You know, think about the mana. Is it going to do your body any good? Is it going to do anybody any good for that matter? Think about it. And then try not to taint the mana with your thoughts. So there you go. What's next?
We have a caller on the line.
Okay, before I go to that, I just want to say this. I like doing this show. For those of you that like the show as well, it would help us if you went and made a donation towards the show. That way I can do more shows and improve on things. So if you go to www.asktheunicorn.com and just click the donation button, make whatever donation you can, it will go towards this show. And better shows, and more shows. Perhaps even longer shows. Maybe even workshops. So I just wanted to say that to all of you that may be listening. And if you are listening, please tell your friends about this show. I enjoy doing it. Kazi enjoys doing it. Ling enjoys doing it. And I'm sure that you all enjoy it.
Yep, and people like the new unicorn.
Well, isn't that one? Is it not dramatic?
Ta-da!
You should. I was putting this up today, and it was really funny because when I went over to turn it over to put it up, I was listening to this music, and you guys have heard my music. You know, it's pretty whacked out. But all of a sudden, these dramatic drums started playing, and I picked the thing up, and I didn't even notice it until I had it up, and as I was going to put it up on the wall, these drums and violins started playing, and I went, really? And just put it up. It was pretty funny. Anyway, so who's calling?
We have Elise on the line, and I'm a dork. I need to go get the phone. Excuse me.
Are you serious?
I'm serious.
For reals?
Serious. Durr.
Okay, see, this is what I was talking about. We still have some things to iron out. Evidently, Kazi went into the dryer and didn't iron herself. Or her brain.
No, I got rushed, and then that's
You got rushed.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
How are you doing?
I'm good. What can I do for you this evening?
Well, I had this really strange experience yesterday. I was taking a walk outside, and I saw a car just drove past me really fast, and after that there was lots of light, beams of light flashing through the air, a lot of electricity, and then a magenta triangle appeared about 2 feet in diameter on the ground with a staircase. And it was like there for 30 seconds and it disappeared. And I just wonder, like, have you ever heard of anything like that? And
Yes.
what is that?
Yes. What happened to the car?
I'm sorry?
Did anything happen to the car that passed you by really, really fast?
like electricity coming out of it, like the people inside the car were, they just didn't have the kind of vibration that they were from Earth or something, and they just, it was pretty benevolent. It wasn't evil or anything. It seemed okay to me. It was a real lot of light and electricity, and I just never saw anything like that.
Okay. Well, it depends on that person's energy. It may have been someone who may or may not have been from this earth, or their origins are elsewhere. But I'm more interested in the triangle and the staircase that you were looking at.
Yeah, I know. I didn't know what that was or why.
Where did it appear exactly? Did it appear like in front of you, or were you down the street from it?
Yeah,
Or?
it was right in front of me, toward the left on the ground, and it had like a magnetic pull to it, like it was trying to pull me into it, almost like a vortex, and I had to go like a 10 feet around it, not to be pulled into it.
Interesting. Did anyone else have any reaction? Were there people around?
You asked me if anyone else was around then?
Yeah. Was anyone else around?
No, I didn't see anyone else, but there's like not such a good connection on the phone. So, there wasn't anyone.
Okay,
I understood you'd asked me if there was anyone else around, and I didn't see anyone else around.
Okay, yeah, that is. Can you hear me better now?
A little bit better.
Okay. I don't know why the connection is funny. Anyway, that sounds like had you stepped into that particular light, you may have disappeared.
Oh gosh.
Well, that's what it sounds like.
Yeah, I had a feeling about that, and I just wanted to avoid that.
It sounds more like an invitation, though.
It was an invitation?
That's what it sounds like to me. I mean, those that have been abducted have a totally different experience than what you were talking about.
Oh.
None of them really have a recount of a magenta light or a staircase like an invitation. It sounded like someone was inviting you.
Oh, I didn't feel like being invited at that moment.
That's great. I'm not ready for the party.
No, I don't feel like being I hope you guys can hear this, but she just said no, I don't feel like being invited at the moment. I get it. I understand. It didn't sound like it was anything dangerous. It just that maybe they knew that you can see them.
Oh, okay. I think they do know. I see lots of aircraft flying through the air, and I know it's not from Earth. And when I see them, I wave to them, and sometimes they wave back.
How do they wave back? Do they do something?
I see these. I'm sorry. I see these craft that were elongated, shaped, very very brightly, shining white, and the tail looks sort of like the tail of a whale, and the top part of it looks like a dome, and you could see a being driving it. And when I see them driving, they have a really peaceful atmosphere, and they don't make any sound at all.
Okay.
And when I wave, sometimes I wave and they wave, sometimes they wave back.
Interesting. Huh. Maybe the next time you could take a picture.
Oh, okay.
Do you ever think to do that?
No, I don't have. I didn't have my phone that had the camera on it, but I could bring it with me next time and try to take a picture.
I would love to see that.
Oh, okay.
Awesome. Cool. Well, thank you for calling in.
Okay, well, it was great talking to you.
And talking to you as well. Tell Talmadge I said hello.
I will, and tell Sonari and Mirakasi I said hello too.
Hi.
Okay, I'll talk to you soon, sweetheart.
Hey, thanks.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
That was Elise. I like it when she calls in.
All right, you ready for the next
I
question?
am indeed.
This one comes from Shelly, and she says, the other night I dreamt two wolves wanted to get into my house, and I was looking down at them, and they were wagging their tails and kept wanting to come in. Does this mean anything?
Yeah, keep your door closed. That's what that. Stop taking animals. Shelley always has animal stories. Those are usually visitors. Did you let what matters is whether or not you let them in. It sounds like two friends are going to come visit you, but they were wolves, which basically means more than not, it's people that she considers to be family. That could be anyone, but it usually represents someone who is connected to you in some way. Okay, and it sounds like a good experience. You know, wolf in dream usually does represent family, and the white wolf in dream usually represents no sense of danger at all. Or maybe even a guide. That's yeah, could be guides coming to you, but I think more on the physical level. So just keep an open mind and let me know what happens. If you guys can hear, I don't know if you all can hear that, but that's Scooby in the background that's talking. As a matter of fact, go get Scooby so they can say hello to Scooby. Who wants to see Scooby? Anybody want to see Scooby at all?
I want to see Scooby. I want to see Scooby. Come on.
Okay, so I have to look at the computer because evidently there's some kind of a delay that is happening. So I'm sorry that there's a delay if we're having some technical difficulties. Sonari said she wants ice cream. Okay, so we're going to bring Scooby in to say hello to you all. And Link. Down. Hi, Scoop.
Oh, of course she lays right where I'm going to sit. Oh, yes.
So this is my buddy Scooby. Hey, buddy.
Scooby.
Okay, and for those of you that have never seen Scooby before, Scooby is a hyacinth macaw, and he likes girls.
He does.
And he's usually very boisterous, and I'm sure you've seen some of the videos with him talking to me a lot. You need to pull him over a little more. And he likes to talk, isn't that right, buddy?
Be a jerk.
I don't care if he is. Okay, and for those of you that wanted to see a hyacinth macaw and to see if Scooby's real, because I get asked a lot, is that real? Yes, he's real. And he's right by my ear, so hopefully he doesn't decide to have a huge conversation. Okay, so what do you think? Show him how you stick your tongue out. What do you think? You want to say hi? Say hi? Say hi to everybody. Say hello. Or shall we do our discussion? He's just stand and look at me for a while and whisper to me. He's like, okay. Yeah, he says peekaboo. Okay, so what do we have next?
We have a request from Daisy. She asks if you can touch on phases of the moon and which are best for different activities such as planting seeds, cleaning, etc.
Okay, Daisy is one of my students, and as I said before, when students, if you're going to ask questions, this is not the time for your class. Okay, this is the time for people to ask questions.
It's a good question.
Well, there's some good questions. You know, phases of the moon, I've touched on that before, but I'm not going to touch on anything. What I'm going to do is answer questions. So if you have a question that you would like to ask, fine, I'll answer that. Okay, if I rant, usually it's because something just piqued my interest. But there are different phases of the moon, waxing and waning, and some are good for bringing things to you, and some are good for making things go away from you. In other words, if you don't do a prosperity spell on a waning moon. Okay, a protective spell, you can do it any moment in time. There are prosperity spells that are meant to be done only on the waxing phase of the moon. And what that basically means is from the time after the new moon until the full moon is waxing, from the time after the full moon until the new moon is waning. Okay? All right. So what questions do we have?
That's all I have for now.
Oh, you don't have any questions?
No, feel free to rant.
Well, then I'll talk about the phases of the moon.
Well, all right then.
Okay. Now, it's really important for you to understand these things. Now, her whole thing was about what to use them for. And you can use them for anything. Farmers know this. Some of the people who understand the moon better than anyone else is farmers. I know that there are a lot of people that are pagans and witches, Wiccans, that understand the phases of the moon because it's a matter of survival. It's also a matter of knowing when to do the proper ceremonies. But a farmer knows when the sun and moon cycles are in order to grow food. And that comes down to supporting life. So it would be a good idea for all of you to get moon charts so that you know exactly what the phases of the moon are, which phases of the moon are going to be the best for doing a spell for prosperity, a spell for, and hopefully you don't waste a phase of the moon doing a love spell. But for those of you that do, waxing phase. Waxing, not waning. Waxing. Do you understand? Okay, for protective spells or to make nightmares go away, waning phase. To make bad things go away, to drop bad habits, to cause things to abate, to make sickness go away, to make disease go away, waning phase. To bring about healing, to bring about good relations, to bring about new additions, to do things like bring a new person into your life, or to bring financial well-being into your life, or to get a bird. Waxing phase of the moon. Okay, right? Is that right? Yeah. Okay, so I've touched on that. It's usually very, very simple. There are different aspects of different moons when it comes to astrology. In order for me to actually explain that to you, I'd have to give you a whole astrology lesson along with numerology and telemetry. And we can do that for another time. Okay, so there are no more questions, right?
Let me check with Sonari.
That's quite all right.
Okay.
It's about that time anyway.
It is.
I would like to thank you all for your questions and listening to me rant and listening to Scooby and Ling and Kazi, who had to run off camera 2 times. Quiet. Okay. And I hope you all will join us next week on Ask the Unicorn. And if you have any questions whatsoever, please write them down, because from time to time you can forget your questions and then not remember them till after the show. If you need to get in touch with us, you can get in touch with us at Unicorn Cove School of Metaphysics, and that is at www.unicorn-cove.com, or Ask the Unicorn, www.asktheunicorn.com. Okay? And you can also reach us on Facebook, and we have many places that you can get in touch with us, so feel free to get in touch with us at any time. I also teach classes on psychic development, metaphysical development, and paranormal development. I teach paranormal investigation and the proper things to do. And I teach many spiritual practices along with manual arts as well. What I mean by manual arts is things that are music, dance, some martial arts, and also visual arts, such as drawing, painting, sculpting, things of that nature. Yes, I'm very, very good at all of those. If you need martial arts lessons, those will be done on a physical basis. I teach Skype classes. However, when it comes to things like the manual arts, I prefer to do those in person. I do not teach for free. So those of you that think that I do teach for free, you are incorrect. This is my living. This is not my hobby. So if you have any interest in classes, please let me know. I also do telepathic reading and telepathic counseling for those of you that need such a thing. Or sometimes you just may need someone to talk to, or you may need help. And when you need help, and you honestly need help, I do not charge for those things. We ask for a donation from time to time, but please do not let money be the issue if you truly need help. That being said, I look forward to talking to you all next week. And please have a good week and be positive. Remember what I said. If you want a dream to come true, you have to be the dream. I'm Ahura Z. This has been Ask the Unicorn. Everyone say night-night.
Night-night. Night-night, Scooby.